Thanks, everybody. My name's Dr. Mike Haywood. As you know, I'm the co-founder and growth director of LiveHire. We're a software platform empowering many of the big and well-known brands, particularly in Australia, and now scaling internationally, and completely redefining, I guess, the way one of the biggest industries in the world works, and that's employment. Company lifespans keep shrinking. This is why LiveHire exists. This is what's at stake for almost every single organisation. In the last 15 years, more than half of the Fortune 500 companies have disappeared. Whether you speak to McKinsey, Deloitte, PwC or World Economic Forum, they'll all say the same thing, and it's basically that the ability of an organisation to attract and manage their current and future workforce in a more agile, diverse and fluid way will mark the difference in the future for them between success and complete failure. The problem is, at a time when organisations really need to be more agile because they're being disrupted from everywhere, they're actually going backwards. So in the last 6 years, the time to hire new staff into a business has more than doubled from the current processes and technologies they use from 28 days to more than 68 days. This traditional method is called reactive recruitment, meaning when 16% on average of a workforce leave every year, recruitment teams react to the fact and post an ad on a job board, which costs around $300, but then deal with the aftermath of that job advertisement, processing the flood of applicants like paperclips for a procurement process, and basically ending up with around 68 days in processing and administration wasted time and $5,700 in cost every single hire. 12 million workers in Australia collectively make 300 million online job applications every year. So the average worker in Australia is applying to 25 jobs a year. This is the same lengthy process and data entry every single time because the software doesn't recognise them as the same person, even when it's the same software supporting different companies. This is hugely frustrating for candidates to the point where if you Google job applications you'll get the top 5 most globally relevant responses are too long, stupid, a waste of time, and why are you applying for this position? As a result, candidates tend to blame the recruitment teams, not the technology or the process, and if you Google recruiters you get useless, liars, scum, and scumbags. 39% of people rejected from job applications vow to never buy that company's product or service again. This is why the best employers now understand that candidates are also consumers, and in many instances, for example a bank, the candidate is a consumer at the same time. Candidates today want humanised, memorable experiences, ongoing connection to the brands that they love, on-demand opportunities for work anywhere, real time, and most importantly, they want personalised engagement. LiveHire is now flipping a lot of the best companies' recruitment processes from reactive to a proactive one through the launch of branded and private live talent communities, as you can see here for Telstra Health, in the cloud, which become the single destination for any worker that is interested in working for that employer's brand from any source, online or offline. The company's talent community becomes a reserve bench of qualified, interested and available people ready to work for that company on demand at some point in the future. LiveHire has artificial intelligence which helps to neatly source all the people in the community into talent pools for every single role in the business and ultimately manages 100% of the company's hires in the cloud. Most importantly though, the technology is built with a candidate at the centre, not the job vacancy at the centre like other traditional recruitment software. The candidate's in control of their own data and has one unified profile that they can then, with a few clicks, privately join any talent community of any company or employer brand that they choose to. The net effect of this is data on candidates stays live for every single company's talent community, and LiveHire powers all the communication through SMS and text messaging in the cloud between hiring managers and candidates. You probably can't see my phone right here, but I have 0 unread text messages and 9,436 unread email. Text message is how humans communicate, and it's the uniquely different model that LiveHire has actually developed. LiveHire has created a whole new category in the cloud. We sit and wedged ourselves firmly between the sources of talent, you can see up the top here, which is job boards and social networks, and downstream, the really large incumbent HR software vendors like Oracle and SAP and Workday that are traditionally running these static databases. LiveHire is sitting in the most valuable part of that chain, which is maintaining real relationships between companies and candidates and managing all the communication in the cloud and growing larger and larger. Some quick real-life examples here. Telstra Health, 1,300 employee division of Telstra. For those that don't know Telstra Health, they're growing to about 3,000 people and really focused on building the most major digital health organisation in Australia. They've broken away from the career centre in Telstra, which has 120 recruiters doing Telstra's normal recruitment, and those 120 recruiters average about 50 hires per recruiter per year. Telstra Health have one single recruiter in their business hiring 220 people a year, 50-50 perfect gender diversity split in arguably one of the toughest industries to hire, which is technology. Roy Hill, largest private mining company in Australia. Roy Hill's talent community was fully live less than a week after contract signing with 25,000 members in their talent community. To put this in perspective, traditional recruitment software can take up to 6 months to deploy and configure, so it really speaks to the scalability of this platform that we've built. The talent community is updating candidate data at a rate of 2,000 times a minute, and the median response time from candidates to SMS is 90 seconds. So you can see the real live and fluidity with which Roy Hill are now hiring into their business. And lastly, one of my favourites, General Pants, an iconic fashion retailer, 50 stores around Australia, 1,300 workforce, hiring 600 people a year. General Pants have talent pools for every single role in every single store across Australia, and their time to hire is now down from 28 days to as low as 2 days. When you put this in perspective across 600 hires, having people in the store selling a month faster than they previously did, that's equivalent to $750,000 in productivity growth for General Pants every single year. LiveHire is now delivering around 10 times return on investment to companies across all key industries at an ever-increasing rate as we scale. LiveHire's key growth metric is talent community connections, or as we affectionately call them, TCCs. And if you follow LiveHire more, you'll get to know TCCs really, really well. Companies market their own talent communities everywhere online, and they collectively attract new talent to the LiveHire ecosystem together for everybody. Companies pay LiveHire a hosting fee of up to 50 cents per talent community connection per month, and they can adjust the size of their talent community very easily ongoing to grow it or shrink it as they need to, but they typically grow to about 10 times their workforce. Most importantly though is because each worker can join more talent communities over time, the network effect means LiveHire's total talent community connections and hence revenue continue to compound and exponentially grow, compounding 20% quarter on quarter for the last 13 consecutive quarters since launch, and continues to accelerate faster. The recruitment market has not been disrupted yet, evidenced by the fact that for $400 billion spend on hiring in the US, less than 1% of that spend is on technology, 99% is on people. In a more mature, disrupted market, technology accounts for around 20% of the total market spend. So you can see there's going to be an enormous shift in the spending in this industry over the coming years, as well as the compound annual growth rate of the industry. We see the absolute total addressable market in Australia close to $1 billion per year with this initial product and revenue line. To put that in context, that's 60% of the workforce of Australia connecting to 25 different employers' talent communities each. LiveHire is already managing close to 4% of the current and future workforce of Australia and doubling every single year, and has done that for the last 3.5 years. Globally, the problem is the same, but a lot larger, and LiveHire is uniquely positioned to capture this and already expanding internationally with no similar competition. Our major focus then is purely on launching more and more talent communities, because as we do that, the candidates flock to the talent communities. We can reach our total addressable market through three main channels: recruitment partners, inside sales, and large integrations with the big technology companies like Oracle and SAP and Workday. Our enterprise sales team, the pillar in the middle, sell direct to HR directors to about 60% of organisations globally. The remaining 40% of organisations still have their own in-house recruitment teams, but those teams are owned by a different company as a managed service. That's called Recruitment Process Outsourcing, or RPO. Jeff Morgan, our chairman, pioneered one of the first RPO models with Johnson & Johnson. Today, 40% of corporates use RPO, and the global top 10 largest RPO providers control 90% of this market. LiveHire allows these RPO companies to deliver a much more efficient service to clients and increase their EBIT margin. 3 of the global top 10 RPOs are now actively pitching LiveHire into clients to run as a managed RPO service, and we're in progress discussions with the others. One live example of one of the global top 10 recruitment houses, Randstad, 24 billion euros a year turnover, 3.8% EBIT margin. They manage 800,000 hires per year globally. Randstad have now begun to deploy LiveHire in Asia just this month, with the aim of increasing their recruiter productivity by 50%, then scaling. If successful, we see this as a 10 to 20 million TCC opportunity globally, and this is just one of the global top 10 RPO firms. In the first month live in Asia through Randstad, we've already grown the Asian ecosystem of TCCs to more TCCs than the entire first year of growth we had in Australia, and have delivered a perfect 50-50 gender diversity split into talent, into finance and accounting sector, with more than 1,000 finance directors and CFOs joining the ecosystem in a month. And these are the typical buyers of our platform for their own organisation, so you can see how the viral loop works with this ecosystem. LiveHire is in a very strong cash position with over 16 million in the bank, 0 debt, and we're very well supported by institutional funds and investors under broking house advice. Everyone is very positive about the business, the growth moving into the future, and LiveHire's team's ability to fully deliver on our growth plans and our purpose, which is to empower the flow of the world's talent into organisations to create a more agile, open and awesome working world. Thank you very much for listening.